Hi everyone, my name's Brian and I'll be showing you the gear I'll be using for my Bulgarian winter expedition trip. The trip is an 800-kilometer journey across Bulgaria using a combination of skiing and hiking if there's no snow. I'm a Canadian adventurer and together my wife and I are trying to drive around the globe and explore the mountains that we find in each country. In this video, I'll be showing you my ski touring equipment that I'll use for the expedition, but it would also be applicable if anyone was doing a multi-day ski touring trip through the mountains in the wintertime. This is our 2020 Ford Transit camper van. I'm going to climb up on the roof and set up my gear there. All right, let's go. All right, so now that we've got all the gear up on the roof of our Ford Transit camper van, I'm gonna go through item by item and show you what I've got, what model it is, and just tell you a little bit about why I like it and why I think I'm gonna bring it on this trip. This is my Arc'teryx 63-liter Bora backpack. I absolutely love this pack. I'm gonna go over a few of the key features that I really like and why I think it's perfect for this trip. First, I wanna start off with this super unique suspension system. You can see here that the entire hip is on a bit of a swivel. What that allows is that as the pack is moving, because of your hips and the terrain, your hips are able to stay in motion, but the pack will actually only pivot around this and the pack will stay straight. All that equates to a lot less use of your muscles for stabilizing the pack. It's got a carbon fiber back, which keeps it sturdy. The material is ultra durable. It's not fully waterproof, but it's definitely water resistant. It has this outside kangaroo pouch that is water sealed and taped off. This allows for things like crampons and shovels and any kind of wet gear that you need easy access, but you don't want it to make anything inside your pack wet. It allows you to put it in there. It has side access, so if you pack well, you'll be able to grab a few things from there. And other than that, it has this big, huge area that I'll be filling up with things. It has a really ruggedized system to be able to hold the skis, big pouch to be able to put water, and then a few little accessories here where I can keep some snacks. Ideally, I like to keep snacks right there, so I don't even really have to stop that long when it's snack time. I can actually just slow my pace, pull some stuff out, and get eating. So far, I've used this pack on the Great Divide Trail, where I hiked 450 kilometers in 3 weeks, and the largest loadout that I've put in here so far was a 9-day off-grid trip where we carried 9 days worth of food. Technically 8 days because I ate our food and we had a day without food, but that's another story. That's the pack I'm going to be bringing. Okay, next, let's talk skis. If you're new to backcountry skiing, ski touring, or freeride, this is a set of backcountry skiing skis and bindings. I've got the DPS Whaler 112 RP2 Pure 3 Carbon. It's a mouthful. They are in the 184 centimeter length range. And I have the G3 Z12 bindings mounted on here. What I love about these skis is that they're quite wide underfoot, which is great for powder, but because of their carbon construction, they're both lightweight, but also able to take quite a bit of rough snow. So whether it's icy, choppy, or mixed variable conditions, these skis can really handle them all. I've had these skis since 2014. I had previous G3 bindings, but just last season I replaced them with these Zs, and I've loved them. It's a nice metal construction with a bit of plastic to save weight. And before I get started on my trip, I'll be taking them to base camp in Sofia, Bulgaria, to get them cleaned up, patched up, the edges sharpened, and I'm very excited to put on a Phantom 2.0, which is a ski base coating that allows you to not have to wax your skis for several years. Very excited for that. For ski boots, I have the Technica Cochise Pro Light model. These are, I would say, somewhere between a resort to slack country type of boot. They're definitely not a dedicated touring boot. In a perfect world, I'd love to maybe trade these out for something a little bit lighter, but in the theme of this whole thing, I'm kind of using what I got because right now I don't have any sponsorships. But if any ski boot company wants to gift me some awesome light ski touring boots, I would definitely take you up on that. What makes these different than conventional ski boots is their ski walk mode is really exaggerated, and it allows you that when you're ski touring, you can get quite a bit of motion. So with the buckle down, the boot is rigid, just like any other type of downhill ski. But as soon as I lift that up, I get a really nice flex back and forth, and you can open up some of the buckles and the straps to allow even more. So the range of motion is okay for this, but I wouldn't necessarily say this is a recommended expedition boot, but it's what I got and I'm pretty comfortable with it, so it's what we're going to use for now. Okay, for ski poles, I have the G3 carbon via ski poles. They're adjustable, so you can set them anywhere from 145 centimeters in length down to 115. They have nice deep snow baskets, and I always carry a spare. And then I've added a little bit of tape for emergencies. I'll probably refresh that. I saw a guide use this. He uses it as kind of a second handle, depending on the conditions, but it's also a bit of repair tape. As you can see, pretty well used, and I use them summer and winter. In the summertime, you just remove the baskets. You'll notice a lot of gears from G3. It's a Canadian company, and they make really cool stuff, so I like to use it. Okay, for this last part of the skis, I've got ski crampons. I don't know if I'm going to be carrying this. Part of the expedition will be passing through 3 months through terrain varying from just a few hundred meters above sea level all the way up to just under 3,000 meters. So that's quite a variance. Depending if there's really icy conditions, I may put these ski crampons on. They allow me to keep my boots on the skis, but just give me a little bit of extra hold on really sketchy areas. Avalanche safety, I've got my 3 basics, which is shovel, probe, and beacon. For my probe, I have an Ortovox carbon probe. It's a total of 220 centimeters. I'll have to double check that that is sufficient depth, but from what I can tell with the varying conditions and no glacier, this should be a good probe for what I'm going to be using. Hold to release. Next up is my Ortovox beacon, and I've had this for several years. What I'll do is I'll do another safety test and check it out before I actually start any trips, but I'll be wearing this every single day. What this beacon allows me to do is generally I'll be having it on transmit mode, which means that I am sending a signal out to about a range of roughly 20 to 40 meters. It doesn't give a GPS position, but it gives a local position. Then if somebody else has a beacon, they're able to detect that and actually direction find until they come on top of me if I'm stuck in an avalanche, debris, or in a snow well. So on its own, the avalanche beacon doesn't really help you, but having a partner around does. It has a nice carrying pouch, and generally speaking, I'll have it right there on my side. Okay, the final piece of equipment for avalanche safety is the shovel. Again, Ortovox, they're an absolute leader in terms of avalanche type gear. And this shovel it's collapsible. So it comes quite big, but also you're able to do two different styles of shovel. If someone is in an avalanche, what ends up happening is that as that snow falls and tumbles, but then comes to a sudden stop at the bottom of a slope, all of a sudden that snow will generally compact and turn almost like cement. So having some options to be able to pull snow in different ways, also depending on the conditions, allows you to activate different muscles so you can effect a quick rescue. I really like this all metal construction on this shovel. It gives me a lot of peace of mind knowing that if I have to use it, it's not going to break on me. Okay, this is my lightweight ice axe from camp. It's a super short and minimalistic ice axe. The amount of times I'll be carrying it is probably fairly limited. Where this will really excel is if I just am on some terrain that the consequence of falling would be quite severe, then I can carry this in my hand and have an ability to self-arrest. I've got some crampons. I've got the basic Gravel crampons. These ones just use a strap, fabric strap to hold on, and rubber plastic in the front. They're multi-point, hardened steel, super basic crampons. I don't know that I definitely will not be carrying this for the majority of my expedition, but in some of the areas where there might be more ice, it'll be really nice to have this. In the event that I'd be wearing these, I'm probably in an area where there's not enough snow or it's too steep and I'm trying to climb. And so it just makes sense to throw the skis on my backpack and hike up with the actual crampons on. Got this really handy crampon bag. And I got this from Krista's uncle. And it just really helps have the crampons in a place that's secure so that you don't have to worry about them making a hole through all the rest of your equipment. Okay, and the final piece of like super technical gear that I forgot to show you for the skis are these skins from G3. What these skins allow you to do is take normal skis and then this is glue on one side and fur on the other. Sometimes it's real fur, mohair, and in this case, it's a synthetic. The compound on these skins allows you to stick the skins onto the bottom of the skis for any time you're uphill, and then quickly remove them when you want to descent. The glue doesn't stay on the surface of the skis when you remove it. So I've probably taken these on and off hundreds of times and it doesn't leave any residue. So they're super cool. I've got this super nice black diamond vapor helmet. I absolutely love it. It's lightweight, well vented. It has the ability to mount headlamps as well as goggles. And I'll be carrying this with me anytime that there's an overhead hazard. At this point for goggles, I have my probably 15-year-old Dragon goggles. They're pretty old school. They've got an orangish pink tint, but that's what I got, so that's what I'll be using. So I think that was all of the hard, spiky things within my equipment list. Now to switch over to the equipment that's soft, fuzzy, and warm, and will try and keep me protected in the elements. So to help me get some more room, we'll start with the biggest one on the list, and that's my sleeping bag. While I'm here, quick tip if you don't already know this. Anytime you have down, if you see any of these feathers poking out, you actually don't want to pull them out. There's a little trick to be able to bring them back in and keep your insulation. Find the area where the down is sticking out, put your hand inside from underneath and then try and grab the base of that feather. There you go. And pull it right through. That way you'll keep the insulation on the inside. Over time, if you were to keep pulling those feathers out, eventually your garment would lose its insulating capabilities. All right, so with this expedition, I expect to be doing a combination of using winter huts and sleeping in the camper van and also sleeping outside in a tent. So to do that and to stay warm, I'll be bringing my down-filled sleeping bag from Rab. This is the Andes 1000. I've had this for several years and I just love bringing it on anything that's below -5 degrees Celsius. Okay, the sleep limit for this bag is -27 Celsius or -17 Fahrenheit. So that means that's the absolute limit of being able to safe in here. I love it up to like, -20, -25. I have a great time sleeping in here. So that's the sleeping bag I'll be using. Okay, the only piece of gear that I actually haven't tried yet out of this whole equipment is our brand new tent that we're going to be trying. This is the Durston X-Mid 2, and this is the entire tent assembly. This is an ultralight backpacking tent designed for 2 people, and with the combination of what's inside here and your 2 hiking poles, you can create a tent that is very durable for poor weather conditions. I'll be setting it up before I get out on my expedition, but that's what I'll be using. If I've learned anything about winter camping, it's all about insulation. This is my Thermarest Neo Air mattress. It's an air mattress that's designed for 4 seasons, and it gives you an amazing insulation from the ground. I basically bring this on every trip. It's absolutely incredible, and I'll definitely be bringing it with me. I'll be bringing this Nemo switchback kind of corrugated insulation as a backup. If I know that I'm going to be doing multi-days outside, it's nice to have a secondary option, and I'll probably be bringing this with me even if I'm not sleeping, because it's really nice to be able to sit, and especially if you get injured, you can just lay it out and you're insulated from the ground. Here's my gloves. I've got these outdoor research mitts. They've got leather palms and Gore-Tex uppers, and this is for the extreme conditions when things go either really wrong or it's really cold. Next, I've got my mitts from Norona. These are the Roldal mitts, which, fast fact, is a ski resort in Norway and the only one that I have skied on. This is what I'll be using most of the time if temperatures are kind of like -10 or so. It's primarily a leather glove with a bit of insulation. These are just hard-working gloves, and I absolutely love them. One of the best anatomical fits that I have. For times where I just need a little bit of sun protection or a little bit of warmth, but I don't really want to get sweaty, I've got these smart wool gloves. Headwear, lots of headwear options. Okay, for sleeping, you can't beat this Canadian northern fur hat. So when you're sleeping, and you're sleeping outside, I absolutely love doing up the Velcro like this, undoing the straps, and then you've got this beautiful, beautiful piece of fur covering your nose and eyes. Absolutely amazing sleep. You can bring it up like this and tuck it away, and now your ears can have some breathing. My next warmest layer is my Anion wool toque, and I pretty much wear this all the time. Then I've got an Arc'teryx wool kind of beanie. It's super thin, and this is if I'm doing high activity output where I'm probably going to be sweating a bunch. Then I know I can wear this and still just protect myself from the elements and the wind, but not start sweating. Finally, I've got my buff. This super flexible piece of clothing can either be used around your neck as a gaiter, brought up like this to protect yourself, or turned into a headpiece. For when I'm actually skiing, I like to wear all wool base layers. Most of the time I'm going to be wearing these icebreaker 150 thickness long johns on my bottom, and I either have my Arc'teryx base layer or my smart wool base layer. For boxers, smart wool boxers, I'll bring a few pairs of those. And then when I'm in my sleeping quarters, I'll have my icebreaker 200 thickness top and my icebreaker 260 thickness bottoms. Call that the blueberry outfit. For outerwear, I have these Arc'teryx pants. These will be used if it's sunny conditions and not too much snow, and I'm going to be doing high energy output. They're light, they're quick drying, and they've got some good pockets, and they're really comfortable. When the weather turns poor, I have my Arc'teryx Gore-Tex Pro bib pants. I've got my Alpha SV Gore-Tex Pro jacket from Arc'teryx. That jacket is absolutely bomber, and if I have any bad weather, it's just great to put it on. Depending on the conditions, I have this Arc'teryx down jacket, no hood. Maybe I'll put that on now because it's getting cold. And for really bad conditions, or if I want a hood, or maybe if I'm going to sleep, I have my Rab oversized down jacket. I like having that oversized jacket compared to this one. If I'm going to be just making a quick stop and then doing a transition. Because it's oversized, I can put it right over top of my Gore-Tex, stay warm quickly, make my transition, and then put it away, and I don't lose any heat. Okay, for socks, I like really thin skiing socks. So this is a combination. These are all Smartwool socks. Absolutely love these ones. For the huts or in the tent, I've got these Mountain Hardwear down booties. They've got a nice bottom here with a little bit of grip. And yeah, you can walk around the hut, stay nice and cozy. For hydration in the winter time, there's no point bringing an Nalgene because your water will just freeze. So I'll be bringing 2 thermoses. I have no idea what size they are. I think this is a 1 liter, and I think this might be a 500 milliliter. This one, I'm not sure yet, may have a soup that I put in it, and this one will be my water. I've got a titanium cook pot, which will be my coffee mug and also my bowl to eat out of. For my stove, I have an MSR Whisper Light. This doesn't need much introduction. It's a super well-known stove. The reason I'm bringing this instead of anything with canisters is that the canister gas doesn't do as well at high altitude and cold temperatures. So with the Whisper Light, you can pair it with a fuel bottle, and you can put any type of fuel in there with this Whisper Light International. All you need to do is change the jet, and you can go anywhere from jet fuel, kerosene, gasoline, diesel, white gas, you name it, it can be burnt in here. Okay, for hiking shoes, I'll be using the Ultra Lone Peak 6.0. I've also got some footbeds in there from Seoul. Anytime that the snow conditions don't warrant the use of skis and ski boots, I'll be having these on and trying to pack on the kilometers. Okay, just got to find a few more pieces of kit buried under here. Okay, a big one for safety and navigation is going to be my use of the Garmin InReach Mini 2. This tiny little piece of equipment pairs up to your smartphone and allows you to send and receive satellite messages regardless of where you are in the world. I'll be using this to help with navigation, but also to make sure that Krista and I have a two-way communication regardless of cell phone coverage. It also has a really awesome ability to do SOS. By pressing this button here, I'll be able to activate a message that lets a global team of search and rescue experts know my location, and further, because I can write messages with this, I can let them know what's going on. Okay, so that's all the gear that I'll be bringing for this Bulgarian ski expedition. If you have any questions about the ski touring gear that I'm using, why I've selected certain pieces of equipment, or if you think that I'm missing something essential, let me know. I'd love to hear that in the comments below. You just finished watching episode 5 of my Ski Across Bulgaria series. In the next episode, I will be introducing you to my support crew. Hope to see you there. Video editing and production has been performed by Krista Norwick. Music is from Epidemic Sound.